king coral scraped against the bottom of the boat as Woolsey stared at the aquarium. Benny's book bag landed with a thump. The answer phone acknowledging her entrance began playback. Brax's voice announced, "Benny, pack your bags. I've got a shuttle scheduled for 4 p.m. We've got a lead on the Ring of Orus." "Brax, that's only a myth," Benny interrupted. The message continued. "I know you think it's just a myth, but it's worth checking out. There's a Mr. Von Harris who will contact you aboard the space cruiser Fascination, but he needs an expert to recognize the artifact. The relevant details are in the attached file. Bon voyage." Bugger. Upon leaving the ship, Benny gaped. "Oh, this is like every bad fundraiser I've ever been to," she breathed, eyeing the 12 buffets lined up along the promenade. She made her way to her cabin. With anticipation, she forced open the door. Her bags dropped to her sides as she recognized the spare furnishings and cramped dimensions of crew's quarters. Bugger. In response to the enthusiastic departure announcements from the cruise director, Benny headed to the observation deck. She eyeballed her fellow passengers. Suddenly the ship lurched into hyperdrive. Stars streamed across the viewports, erupting into a rainbow flash. The white-cloaked figures standing next to Benny groaned, then vomited on Benny's shoes. Bugger. As the creature looked up, Benny recognized the unmasked face of an ice warrior. "Ooh. Wait a bloody minute, you're a Martian," Benny said as the creature fled in terror. Benny turned to follow, but was stopped by the squelching of her shoes. Zarexi slapped the door control of her cabin and hissed a sigh of relief. Concerned about her sudden nausea, she ran a medical scanner over her midsection. The screen confirmed her unlaid egg was sound. Clutching her stomach, she realized her race's ancient enemy, a human, had recognized her. The same creatures who had killed her mate. Changing cloaks, she thoughtfully touched the hilt of her concealed dagger and slipped from her room, whispering, "Sithis, god of war, give me strength." Recognizing her last meal on the carpet, she easily trapped the human. From the corridor, she watched the female jettison her shoes and activate the communicator. "Brax, found live Martian. No ring, no Von Harris." Click. Zarexi resolutely unsheathed the dagger and closed the door behind her. Benny turned to see the armed Martian advancing on her. "Stop!" she yelled. The Martian faltered. Benny took the advantage. "You don't want to kill me. They're only shoes, for God's sake." "Von Harris killed my mate. He mustn't find us." "I'm not here to hurt you. Von Harris hired me to find the Ring of Orus. But that's negotiable," she added, eyeing the knife. "He hires you to find a figment," Zarexi scoffed. "That's what I said, but I needed a vacation. Why is Von Harris after you?" "We are the last of our race. He is a collector." "I'm confused. We? Who?" "I am expecting." "Oh, congratulations. I'm sorry, I didn't know about Von Harris." At that moment, the communicator bleeped, disrupting their conversation. "Professor Summerfield, Von Harris here. Any progress?" "Oh, no, I've barely unpacked. Perhaps we could meet. I have questions about the ring." "The forward lounge in 10 minutes? Perfect." Then he turned to the Martian, who was clutching her abdomen. "You don't look so well. You stay here. I'll distract Von Harris. Then we'll get off the ship." Benny waited until Zarexi nodded, then donned clean shoes. Von Harris watched Benny enter the bar and order a martini. He slyly slipped out of the door, heading for Benny's cabin. He arrived to see the Martian disappear at the corridor's far end. At the shuttle bay, he missed her by moments as the craft cleared the hangar. Ignoring the klaxons, he swiped his space and sign card into the nearest shuttle door and boarded. He gave pursuit. After 3 martinis, Benny activated the computer terminal. "Where's passenger Von Harris?" Out of the corner of her eye, some fragment of consciousness registered 2 shuttlecraft, departing and promptly disappearing into the hyperspace maelstrom. "Passenger Von Harris is no longer aboard." "Where the hell is he?" "Passenger departed in shuttle 2. Bugger. Benny made run for her room. From Benny's journal. I wasn't surprised. When I got to my room, the Martian was gone. I grabbed a handful of clothes and went to pack, but when I opened my satchel, I found a wet, heavily armoured egg inside. Someone had been there before me.
Ooh.